All right. I think I'm set to go. Okay, guys, I'm going to get started with, I'm going to basically put a bunch of concepts up here for us. And as we look at all these concepts, really, I'm going to teach you like I teach the quarterbacks that we coach. Okay. And as we do that, like a big thing is you notice on this drawing right here specifically, there's no numbers. There's no reads on this drawing. Okay. The reason that I do that is because I really want to force you guys to try to figure this out. I want you to think in your head, how would I read this concept? Of course, I can tell you how to read the concept. I'm going to tell you how to read the concept. But I love forcing you guys as quarterbacks to actually have to learn it yourself. So feel comfortable feeling like an idiot, not knowing it. Okay. Who gives a shit? That's how we learn the best anyways, when I critically force you to pay attention and analyze these things and draw your own conclusions. So as you look at this drawing, I want to start with just, where do you think that you would start your progression? As you look at this, well, okay, I have a post, that's a deep route. I look at where these routes are going. So the first things that I want to pay attention to is, the depths of these routes. Typically, I'm going to have an alert of some kind, something that takes the top off the defense. In that case, this would be the post. So the post is going to be the alert as a part of this concept. Okay, we're going to look at the boundary safety to alert that. Obviously, pre-snap, probably going to alert this thing versus quarters. If we're in a proper D&D situation, down and distance, 1st and 10, second and short, something like that, we can take a shot, right? But if all things are even, like we use that as just the alert. Now, where do I want to go in my progression? Well, I got an out route by the Y. I got a drag by the F that can sit in zone or keep running in man, right? Then I have a dig by the X, and then I have a check sit by the H. So as I look at those routes, the first thing I want to look at is depths, right? So the Y's route is at the depth of about 10 yards. The F has to get across the field at 4 to 6. And then I have a backside dig working here at about 14 yards by the X. Okay. So as I look at my progression, where do you think my eyes want to start? My eyes are going to start to the left side here. Okay. They're going to start by looking at the boundary safety to give me an indication of what this coverage is. Again, pre-snap, we should have a strong indicator as to whether we actually want to take that Z or not. Let's assume right now that we don't want to take it. We're still going to look at that boundary safety just to validate post-snap what the coverage might be based on what we were thinking. But then immediately our eyes are going where? If we want to throw the ball to the Y, where are our eyes going to go? Our eyes are going to come down here to this flat defender. Remember, the flat zone is obviously right here on the field, right? It could be in cover 2, the corner. It could also be the outside linebacker. I'm going to assume it's going to be the outside linebacker in cover 3 or cover 4 here. Okay. Again, just assuming that it's not cover 2 to a 2x2 set in this particular case, because a lot of teams aren't playing a lot of cover 2 these days against 2x2 sets. So we're just going to say it's cover 3, cover 4, or even cover 6. Okay. But regardless, there's a flat player who's the outside linebacker, and that's who we're trying to work in this progression. Okay. We're looking to see, can we out leverage the flat defender with the Y? So the flat defender is kind of a part of the box. You can see that highlight neon yellow right there. Okay. Let's assume that that's where the flat defender is. The flat defender expands for width, okay, and gets underneath this Y. Well, he obviously takes the Y away, but this is why we call this a full field progression concept. It's because guess what? Hey, good on you, right? You got out there into the flat. Now, what's coming? Right? So I have the F coming on a drag. So here's my F on a drag. Okay. So who has to play that drag? So the outside backer just expanded, then moves on to the Mike, right? So the Mike will be somewhere in the middle of the field right here. He'll probably be here in alignment at the snap of the ball. He's going to take a slight pass drop, and then he's going to see the release of this F coming inside, of which then he has a decision to make. Is he going to jump the F? Because remember, I'm not getting to the F if the Y is open. So we can't say that this, in this case, the Will or Sam, depending on how you label it, the outside linebacker to this side, okay? We can't say, well, he could cover the drag. No, he can't, because if he covers the drag and we have free access out there, we're throwing the ball to the Y. So the outside linebacker is outside, okay? Now I come back to the F. Did the Mike jump the F, or did the Mike play it back? This is why full field concepts of defense can't be right. Is I'm isolating that flat. Do they play the flat? If they play the flat, great. I move on to the drag. Does the Mike jump the drag? If the Mike jumps the drag, that's great. Where do we go now? We're coming back to the X here, okay? If the Mike doesn't jump it, feed the drag, and we're off to the races, okay? I'd like to say give him information with this ball, just meaning that where you place the ball is the direction that you want him to turn, okay? Always giving our receivers information. Then Let's assume that the Mike jumps this, right? So now we're coming to the X. As we look at the X, again, the safety should be high. The corner should be high and outside of this, okay? They can play it tight, but it would take a very, very, very good safety or corner to jump a backside dig at the depth that the dig is being run, okay? We're going to have patience through this thing, working all the way up to 14 yards here and then breaking across. So if, again, as we look at these underneath defenders, if we got expanded under here and the Mike jumped here, now we come to this dig. Well, who could take the dig away? The person who could take away the dig is this outside linebacker. So I put S/N for Sam/nickel. Okay. Again, depending on how you label it, the reason that I said, you could label it Sam or Will is just because some teams identify it right to left. The Sam is the right linebacker and the Will is the left linebacker. Other teams would say in this formation that the Y, the strength, is to the left. So that's the Sam linebacker, of which then I would be talking about the Will right here. Regardless, it's an outside linebacker. As I look at this outside linebacker, okay, does he play inside and feel me on this dig? Or does he hang out and kind of get lost out here? Well, there's nothing outbreaking to this side. There's nothing that would really grab his attention. So I could see him playing inside of this and taking away that dig. But that's where our eyes are going to go. Our eyes are going to go from this outside linebacker. Does he take away the flat? Yep, he took away the flat. Now to the Mike. Did the Mike take away the drag? The Mike jumped the drag. Okay, now where's this Sam? Okay, as I look at this guy, did he stay inside? Did he leave it outside? Obviously, if he stays outside, we pipe the dig, we're off to the races. Okay. If he decides to play this thing inside, then we're going to come down to our back, of which the beauty of this stuff is that once the Mike has jumped him, once we've played this route underneath, this back will have space to work. Okay. So ideally, you're not going to throw a check sit for 10 yards, but if they do an exceptional job of covering here, covering here, covering here, all with underneath players, then our back is going to catch it and be out the races. Okay. I think it's a really good example for you guys of a full field progression concept. Okay. We're working full field from left to right. And remember, in a full field progression concept, the defense can't be right. I hope this helps. This will be a hell of a start. I can't wait to upload a bunch of these plays, man. Let's get those wheels turning and ultimately get you guys to start guessing exactly how to do these concepts as I pull them out without having to hear my voice.